you for joining us today. Hi.
Hi.
All right, so what I'd like to do is maybe you can start by introducing yourselves, how long you've been in the business, what markets you serve here in Portland, and maybe what you did before real estate and what brokerage you're with, if you can remember all that. We'll start with you.
Okay, yeah, that's a mouthful. Good morning, everybody. I'm Alexander Phan with Keller Williams Realty Professionals. I am the lead listing agent for my team of 7, and we support the entire Portland metro area. I've been practicing real estate, will be coming on 10 years here pretty soon. And before real estate, I came from Intel, actually. And yeah, I think that.
Okay, welcome Alex, thanks.
Perfect. My name is Drew Coleman. I'm at the Hassel Company Realtors. I've been in the business for 15 years, although as a friend of mine says, you're never in real estate for a number of years. You're in real estate for 1 year 15 times because every year is so different. So I am the team lead for what we call ourselves the Drew Coleman team. There's 6 of us total.
Okay.
I think that answers your question.
Welcome. Thanks for
Hi, I'm Sarita Dua. I'm with Keller Williams as well. I'm in Alex's office, and prior to Keller Williams, I worked with Drew before at Hassan, so I'm happy to be up here with my friends. I run the team leader of our team, the Sarita team. We're in the Portland metro area because we're referral based. We're pretty much all over town. I have 4 buyer's agents and 3 admin and an ISA. And prior to real estate, I was in tech for 14 years, 7 at Intel and 7 at startups. My background's high-tech sales and marketing.
Okay, welcome, awesome. Thanks again for joining us. So I want to start with a question about branding yourselves as real estate professionals in 2016. Some of you have been in the business a while, so this might have changed over the years. When you branded yourself 10 years ago, you would do it either in a newspaper or at the Rotary Club. Today, online branding, like branding as a real estate professional, happens on social media. It happens on websites. It happens on Zillow and Trulia. What are the avenues that you sort of get your name and your brand out on? Alex, we'll start with you.
Primarily for me, I believe it's social media. As far as when I'm talking about branding, well, that's a tough one. I mean, I'm saying social media because that's how I like to keep top of mind awareness and connected with my database, with my friends, with past clients. You know, we make sure we add them to our friends list, of course. And that's really what if you're a friend of mine on real estate, you see all my posts. And it's, as much as I talk about real estate, I talk about my family as well, so they know I'm a real person. I'm not all business on there, although it's a lot of business. But I always now try to come from a contribution, so I'm always sharing things that I think will help educate them and bring value back to them. As far as Zillow goes, we definitely brand ourselves really strongly, I believe, on Zillow with our reviews, which we'll talk about later. It's all about just being out there and trying to keep top of mind awareness, and so it's being engaging and showing people that you're active and passionate about what you're doing. And so I think that's what's been working very successfully for me. People know I'm being very genuine and authentic about the things I'm doing and sharing, and
Okay.
that's all.
Okay, Drew, does that align sort of with what you guys are doing? Are you doing anything different?
I think it aligns a lot. I mean, Alex and Sarita and I think whether we talk a lot and we're all friends, but I think we have a similar mindset. I often notice I'm doing something, then Alex doing it, or Sarita's doing something, then we're doing it. We kind of have the same thought. I don't know about Pokemon Go. Alex seems really gung-ho on it, and I'm not necessarily. I don't know what that is.
Listing this Friday.
Okay. So one thing we tried to do from the start, I think that was successful for us, and it has morphed as we become more of an online type of real estate search, was create a brand. With ours, it's a silhouette of a broker standing with the house, and it has a little Starburst logo. So creating that logo and branding, similar to what Sarita has done with her Ask Sarita team, and then populate that out. When we do something successful, make sure that the newspapers, media outlets, things like that, we broadcast that. I was talking to you a little about that, Andrew, at the beginning. And then social media has become a bigger component, and following that transition in social media where, Alex might have been in my 5 on MySpace, but then we moved to Facebook, and then we're Twitter, and now, I'm starting to see more Pinterest and House type of situation, and Zillow Digs would be another example of how that's been morphing. So trying to keep up with where I think that younger demographic of buyers are always trying to keep up with the cool kids. and
Okay.
trying to do that.
Millennials who may or may not actually want to buy homes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, what's your take?
For me, my definition of brand really is who you are and what you represent to your clients. So when I first started, I created a brand right away. I've been doing this for 13 years, and it was, hey, do you have a question? Ask me. Ask Sarita. Whether you want to buy or sell a house, of course I'm here, but if you need a new roof or you need a deck, ask me. So that brand was in everything I did. I started old school, right? Rotary, BNI, in-person, happy hours, breakfast. I think the only thing for me that's really changed as the whole tech scene blew up is just where they find me. The brand still is the same, but now they might find my reviews, they might see me online. I do a video blog that I shoot out to people a couple times a month. I'm finding different ways that where it might have been a strawberry lemonade postcard is now an email that I can reach a lot more people, but the brand is still the same.
Okay. So let's talk about the consumer. Sarita, we'll stick with you for now. The consumers find you through a variety of sources, whether it's social media, friends, family, referrals, online. And then what are their demands? And what are the consumer expectations today? Because it seems to me we're all consumers, is that we're all on all the time. And especially, and I think you can attest, if you're thinking about making an offer on a home, you're obsessed with it. And if you're thinking about like looking at a home, that's where the obsession sometimes starts. How do you help the ever on consumer?
Absolutely, they're on all the time. They want it all. They want it yesterday, and they know more than you do. And so we can't fake it, right? I actually don't pretend that I'm the gatekeeper of the information. I know that they've gone to Zillow. I know they've gone online. I know they know the history of the house, how much it sold for, how much it sold before that. They may even have the old pictures. So my main thing with consumers today is you have to be responsive quickly,
Okay.
and then you have to know where you add value. For my clients that I talk to and my prospects, I know that they're gonna find that information, so I'm not the keeper of that. Where I can add value is what's coming up that they don't know about.
Okay.
What's the backstory on what's going on? Why did that house fall apart 3 times? Well, I know that agent, let me give them a call. So I make sure that my clients know, at least like, for example, a buyer, I tell them right up front, I'm not gonna find you your house, you are. And I'm going to navigate the process for you.
Okay.
And so I'm really clear on what my role is and what theirs is.
Okay, so that actually is an interesting topic, which is the role of an agent in 2016 may have semi-changed over the years from gatekeeper of information to facilitator, negotiator, and representative of this big decision that you're making. You have to kind of evolve with that. Now, consumers, they're on all the time, Drew. So if they're on all the time and you do advertise, you spend money to acquire new business, how do you make sure that consumer that you haven't met yet gets an immediate response?
Last night we were working late on listing presentation, and it's 6 o'clock. I'm like, boy, I haven't eaten. I'm going to be gone until 9 o'clock. I got on jimmyjohns.com, ordered a sandwich. It's there right away at the door. I ordered Jimmy John's not because it's necessarily the best sandwich. It's not terrible. I mean, I need a job at Jimmy John's if we have another 2011. But what I can know is it's dependable. It happens quickly. I know what I'm going to get. It's the same product every time, and that worked for me. And I think that's what consumers are looking for as well.
Okay.
They're looking for something that they can get the information quickly. Someone who seems to be knowledgeable. They want that quick. They're driving through fast food when they're coming to Zillow a lot of the time. And that's not a knock on Zillow, but then we need to convert them and let them know, hey, we're the whitewater rafting guide who has gone through these rapids 100 times before. Yeah, it's your trip, you're bringing your family,
Yep.
But we'll tell you where the eddies are and where you need to brace and where you can kind of relax.
So there's a step-by-step process that typically works with that, and I'm curious, and Drew, if you don't mind letting us know, like, you must use some sort of technology, because if you're getting leads on a regular basis, how do you respond and nurture and convert that individual person? Do you start with technology? And if so, what technology solution do you use?
We use the concierge service, which has been great.
Okay.
Excited to see it roll out on the seller side of things. We try to get them off of the technology as quickly as possible, I suppose. There's a term that I heard called faceless other, where if I hear a name, John Smith, and he's a real estate agent, it means nothing to me even if I email and call him a couple of times. Once we can get that person in the office or out to an appointment where we can have some substantive conversation, all of a sudden that's a connection that we've made, and we're much more likely to keep that client. So
Okay.
we also use verbal conversations. It's been a good follow-up tool for us, just to kind of engage them and send out an instantaneous text while It's odd to me how often people are searching for homes at 2 in the morning. I'm sure you two have found that, where I wake up and there's, hey, at 2 in the morning I've got 5 leads then. Obviously the concierge folks are not working then, so being able to have a text or an email that went out overnight is helpful for us.
So a text or an email, like an autoresponder. So Alex, what is your process by which you get a lead or a contact, and how then do you respond to them and lead them and start to engage them as a client?
Yeah, I hate to say sounds like we're more old school, but just text messaging, calling. First of all, we have an immediate follow-up process, and just like any lead, it's about timeliness and how quickly you respond. So my team definitely is trained to respond immediately if possible. And if they're not available by telephone, then at least even sending an initial text message. We actually don't have autoresponders, and that's probably my fault. But I've trained them that they need to understand that they need to follow quickly, phone call, text message, then an email. And then we have a step-by-step follow-up campaign after that. If they're not able to connect with the consumer right away, then they're going to follow up over the next 7 days. And then that person will then go into a drip system if we're not converting them. We don't have the concierge service, so I'm just having all of my team participate.
Okay. What advice can you give for like structuring your day? Sometimes I talk to real estate agents and they say, gosh, it's such a reactive business because I have to do whatever comes into my device, and then I'm more reactive, but I really want to prospect. I want to send out mailers. I want to do some door knocking and still do some of the traditional ways of getting your name and your reputation out there. It can't all be one avenue, right? It can't all be Zillow and truly advertising. It's got to be an extension. So Alex, what advice can you give about that?
We always, Jennifer will laugh at this, but she used to put a picture of a big frog on my desk as, I eat the frog first and just get it over with. And, I get into the office in the morning and I pull out a piece of paper and it's my to-do list. And I go down, I figure out who are the immediate people I need to follow up with first, because yes, there are other things I need to work on, but if I'm not doing that follow-up on the people I've already spoken to and talking to, then those are all the lost opportunities that I'm gonna have. And so that is the most important part of my day is creating a to-do list. I think about the things, I obsess about work, and I stay up, I'm emailing clients at 1 in the morning and then responding to them at 6:30 in the morning because, that's just how I am. And then, I get in the office, I like to do the to-do list. Now, out of those things, I will look at what are the most important things that I can personally do, have to do myself, and what are the things I'm here that maybe my team can help support me with. And then, that's basically my system.
So Drew, do you also respond at 1 and then a.m. and then 6 a.m. or have any of you created a work-life balance where you can turn off the business at certain times? And what's your process like?
We're efforting that.
Okay.
It's a process. I don't know that we have a good work-life balance. We've got a really good team. I think we're very proud of our team. I would not say we have work-life balance. I think I'm guilty as charged of doing the same thing.
Okay. Sarita?
I'm definitely not balanced, although I strive to be. I've been pretty good about knowing what I like to do and what I don't, and I've outsourced a lot of things that I don't do well or just don't like to do it. For example, I've got great paperwork help with a transaction coordinator. I also don't show houses at all because I have buyer's agents that show as showing agents. And I also brought on an ISA that calls, because I think every agent needs a good agent. That ISA can follow up on a Zillow lead. He's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and he can tell that prospect that I'm great. If I said it, I would sound like an arrogant jerk. But he'll say, hey, are you still talking to other agents? You have to talk to Sarita. She was recently on TV. Can I send you the clip? These are her stats. He basically promotes me. He makes me sound like I'm literally a rock star. So then when I actually pick up the phone and just call the person and say hello, they're just so shocked they've heard from me and they're super excited to meet me. With regards to balance, because I know I'm kind of like Alex and maybe Drew too, that we, there's always just another deal around the corner. You can always do a little more and make more. So I'm pretty good about starting my beginning of the year saying these are the days I'm going to take off. And I've been pretty consistent with 120, 130 days out of the office.
Okay.
And then that's sort of how I do it. I work pretty hard when I'm here, but I've always got a vacation, a couple of great ones. coming up that are already booked and planned.
Okay.
So that's one way I do it. Also, 6 to 9 is pretty much my time.
Okay.
So I will start my day with 3 hours of the day in the morning, first thing, making calls. I focus on my past clients. And then, you know what? At the end of the day, almost anything can wait till 11 in the morning. And then, so 11 to 5 is sort of my work day. 6 to 9 is essentially me and my family time. And then I usually do email for a couple hours after night.
Okay, so some of the agents in the audience are individuals, and they are happy being individuals. Not everybody gets into the business to think they want to grow a team or be a team. And then some are maybe at the capacity where they're thinking of adding a +1. Maybe they don't know who to add. Is it a transaction coordinator? Is it a buyer's agent? How to decide. And then some people are thinking, gosh, I do want a team. I'd love to have that work-life balance. I'd love to distribute leads. I'd love for other people to service the consumer and then maybe become a manager. Quick advice for maybe all three of those groups. I know this is a hard question. Alex, maybe you start.
I would say figure out what you love doing the most, and accept what you don't love doing or not great at, and give up that control. And some of us really love that control, and it's hard. But like Sarita said, and I've learned a lot from Sarita and modeling my business after her as well. But just finding the right people to help you with those things that you shouldn't be focusing your time on. And even if you want to do it all, trust me, you're just getting in the way of yourself. I mean, why are we in business? Is to fund the perfect life, right? And unless your life is about business, you don't want to be doing this all the time on your own. So.
Okay. Alex, sorry, Drew, any advice?
I think there can be happy medium, and I don't think that running a team is necessarily the right thing for everybody. I was an individual agent for a number of years, had a lot of fun, had some part-time help through the early years, and there's a lot of opportunities out there where you can have a transaction coordinator who's maybe not fully part of your team, but that's a contractor, and that can be a great model. I mean, I've got other friends who are agents, and keep it small and keep it all is their kind of motto, and that works really well. But I would echo that having the right team is important. Hiring correctly is probably the most important thing you can do if you head that direction. I've been really impressed with you, Andrew. If you're available, I'm sure a few people out here might want to hire you away from Zillow. So, absolutely.
I love that. He's always in the recruiting mindset. I think just like what these guys said quickly is, I think the first time you start thinking about it is probably when you want to take some action. And create a great do not do list. Like, what are the things I just shouldn't be doing? I don't know, if you join a weight loss program, you have to write down every single thing. I ate 3 M&Ms, I gotta write it down. If you were to track your day on every single thing you did and really looked at it and said, why am I making copies? It's not that I'm too good to make copies, please don't take that the wrong way, but are there things that are, the highest and best use of my time that somebody else can help them with getting upgrades? So having that do not do list, and I'll be honest with you guys, even if you don't have a team, you have a team. You have a team in your office, you have your managing broker, you might have somebody take pictures for you might have a title rep that works really closely with, so you have a virtual team. So it's just a matter of figuring out what you want it to look like and then building it accordingly.
Got it, cool. A couple more questions and then I'll take questions from the audience. Alex, how many reviews do you have on your profile, your Zillow and Trillium profile?
139.
139, okay. So this has been an ever-going thing. This is a process of which you attract consumers to review you. How do you do that?
First of all, you deliver exceptional service. I do have some negative things, but are you asking what is my specific process?
Let's see. Why not? You've got a lot of reviews. So at what point is the best time to ask for a review? Is it at closing?
No, it's actually when I first meet them. To be completely honest, when I'm engaging with the consumer or client for the very first time, obviously I'm trying to understand what their goal is, what their motivation is, and I let them know, look, I'm in this for the relationship. This deal, of course, I'm going to give it my absolute best and give you advice, but at the end of the day, if it's not the right decision or something, I want to make sure that I'm delivering exceptional service, that you're going to be confident to refer me to your friends and family, and I know that doesn't always happen. So at the least, I would hope that you would be comfortable writing a thorough and honest review about your experience with me. I'm setting that stage in the very beginning of the conversation with them. And throughout, and when as we progress in the transaction, I feel the next best time is right when they've scheduled their signing appointment with escrow. because I feel that when you do it after that, they're too busy, they're moving, they got other big things going on in their lives, and they want to write you a review, but they're busy and they'll forget about it. And so if you do it at least right, they got a 3-day waiting period on that CD, so perfect time for them to, hey, write the review at that moment, or at least get it started. And again, I'm reminding them, and then we have a follow-up program as well, post-closing, to make sure that we get it.
Sounds like it's certainly a part of your business process. And Drew, is it the same with you, or do you ask after closing? When's the best time to ask?
We usually set the stage on the front end, which is, hey, we're going to try to deliver to you 5-star service. That's our goal. But anytime during the process you don't feel like you're getting 5-star service, let us know, please, so we can make a quick course correction. And then after closing occurs, usually we will send out to the 97% of people that we think are reasonable folks. The 3% who we mentioned it to before, we're like, hey, have a nice time. And that we treat them still fairly and great. But those folks we reach out to and try to get the reviews. Yeah, I don't have 139 reviews like Alex, but he fails to mention he has like 138 cousins living in the Portland area.
That's funny. Drew, you do have your team profile set up, is that
We
correct?
just recently did that
And
last
so
couple
you have,
weeks.
how many reviews in totality about your
Around
reviews?
60, I would think.
60, okay. And that's with your team members as well?
Correct.
Got it, cool. And Katie's going to talk more about exactly how the review process works if you have a team profile in your presentation.
I think I echo what these guys said. Ask at the beginning, and don't be afraid to ask. They're like, they give you a compliment out of nowhere. Like, hey, can you just say that one more time? I just make a joke out of it and send them the link. So I want to get that review. We just crossed over 100. I think I'm 106. What a difference 100 makes. I would tell everyone, have a goal to get to 100. I don't care if it takes you a year, 2, or 10. Now I just get, we found you on Zillow, we're interviewing you because you have all these reviews. And so all of a sudden, the number of referrals I've gotten through Zillow just from not paid, they just literally, so a friend of mine mentioned it, and I've been doing research, and I saw your reviews. So I think the minute you get to critical mass, and again, I don't know if the number is 60 or whatever, I just like that number, like get to 3 digits and do it, and that was one of my goals. It's made a big difference.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of agents over the years say the 20 review mark, the 50 review mark, and now the 100 review mark are marks. They're actually pivotal points in which your business will increase, where the consumer sees you in a different way because of your reputation. This goes back to the sort of the branding conversation. One of the best ways to brand yourselves is by having other people rate you nicely. Drew said something nice about me just now. If I had a profile, I'd ask you to write that on. That's a real life example. Sometimes closing isn't always the best time to ask for that review as well, as we're hearing. Sometimes it can be mutual acceptance. Gosh, you beat out 10 other offers. They write you this email about how you're changing their life. Can you now put that onto my profile? That's a beautiful testimony. I'd love you to share that with others so I can continue to help others just like I'm helping you. And they're really receptive. A lot of consumers, if you ask for the help, especially because you just, again, provided them 5-star service, they want to give back to you in a way, and this is a great opportunity to ask for that. My other tip on reviews, go ahead.
I just want to add one more thing. It's just, you get a lot of cheat sheets and things on how to ask reviews. Just be authentic to your own voice. I literally have an email that I kind of cut and paste and modify for each client, but I just say something like, can I ask you for a favor? I know this is cheesy, but I can't believe how many people read these things. I'm finally joining the bandwagon. There's so many people who look at these things. I'm now making a conscious effort to make sure I ask people to review me. But I write like the way I talk. And I think people appreciate that honesty. Like, look, I didn't know this was such a big deal, but apparently it is. Everyone's reading them. Can you help me out?
Yeah. We're a very review-based culture, and finding a real estate professional is one of the most important things that you can possibly ever find, and that's why we created. We have almost, I think, 2 million reviews of real estate agents on Zillow and Trulia now, which is just outstanding, and it's a great reputation system. My last tip on reviews is that you can respond to them. Whether they're negative or they're positive, you can create and craft a very artistic, basically a response to whatever that review was. Sometimes your client might forget that it was relocation or that it was a multiple offer situation and you won the transaction. If you write that in the review response, the future consumer is going to read the review, then they're going to read the response, and then they're going to say, I want to work with an agent like that. So you can recraft your own review based on a review, is my point. And God forbid you get a negative review, don't say I didn't want to work with you either. That's my big tip. Create, and I don't know, Alex, did you respond to your negative review? How did you do that?
pains me, right? We work so hard to manage our reputations, and I truly believe we deliver great service, and it sounded very uncharacteristic, too. So it took me days just, thinking, who was this person, I think I figured it out, but, yes, I responded, and all I did was take accountability and said, look, I don't know what happened, because, but let me know, talk to me. You never expressed anything, because again, we do check in, and this person didn't give us any feedback, I guess, and but clearly they weren't happy. But I just said, look, give me a call. I want to talk about this. I want to make it right. If there's any way I can do, and that's all I can say to that.
Some future consumers probably reading that right now and thinking like, I want to work with Alex. So my last question, and then I'll turn it over to the audience, is about return on investment. And sometimes I forget to mention this, but we don't pay these folks to be up here, they pay us. They're premier agents, they're advertisers, and they get business from Zillow and Trulia, and they build businesses off of it. And I guess my question is, your numbers are your own, you don't have to share anything too private, but do you measure, do you track, if I spend X amount of money on advertising, whether it's Zillow or Trulia or a different source, do I track the investment so that I know how much I'm making off of that? Sarita, we'll start with you and we'll go again.
Absolutely, you have to measure it. I mean, you can have this sense of, I feel like it's going well, but how do you know? I have a detailed spreadsheet for every deal. I have a lead source, and so at any moment I can tell you how much GC I have by lead source, and I know what my investment is for lead source. The way I look at it, just on your ROI question, there's no sense spending $1 to get $1 back. That's stupidity. In fact, actually spending $1 to get $2 for me, not really worth it, because by the time you factor in taxes of your time, you're kind of making, you could just sit at home, watch TV, and not spend $1 to get $2 back once you factor out what your expense base is for that second dollar.
Right. I
want to see 3, 4, 5, 6. Right now I'm between $6 to $7 for every dollar I spend. You know what? People can hate on Zillow all day long. I will always trade $1 for 6 or 7. It makes so much sense to me,
Okay.
And so that's why I do it.
And did you start with one zip code or did you start with 10?
I didn't start with 10, I started with 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
And I've been really deliberate on what zip codes I have, and I look at where my past clients come from. I look at socioeconomic status of my clients, I look at demographics, I look at my Intel engineers, etc. And they really, it's getting to the point for me now where, I don't know where I saw you. I saw you on Zillow, but I saw your sign, and I think I got your postcard, and it's just starting to merge together.
Okay.
Certain zip codes.
Okay, Drew?
Well, I think there's a truth to that. There's a branding element that we all have where Coca-Cola doesn't put up billboards to try to sell you one Coke. It's trying to influence that. And I think as we progress in our careers, I've found that to be true too. We get about $8.37 back on each lead that we get through Zillow Group. And that's since we merged it with Zillow Trulia. I got a quick question for you. Have you found, Andrew, I'm going to turn this to the script on you.
Yeah.
Have you found that those estimates have gotten a lot more accurate with the engineers from Zillow and Trulia working together? Has that been a factor in
Actually, the engineers who work on this estimate haven't really been integrated with Trulia much. The Zestimate proprietary historical information, our chief economist Dan Humphreys and his team all started on Zillow, and that was a data team. Oftentimes these computer science people, we don't really let them outside the office. I mean, these algorithms are incredibly complex. They're running them multiple times a day, and so it wasn't a direct correlation between integrated with Trulia. It was simply that Stan's team, or our economist team, either hired better, staffed better, got the algorithm figured out better, sort of tightened it up a little bit.
Yeah, sorry to bird block on that, I was
No
just
worries.
curious. But I guess probably the tipping point for us in the Zillow relationship was when I said, well, I'm tired of fighting this battle with Zillow, let's go all in. And that was very helpful. And also when I started thinking of our Zillow rep as a resource and really kind of saying, well, what are other agents doing in other markets that are really working? And how can, if we're going to spend this money, rather than me just saying, okay, here, what can we do better? And I feel like we've got some great tips. There's a great support staff. I'm not trying to preach to the choir here, but that's been really helpful. And I feel like that relationship, we feel like we're talking about getting together for dinner or something like that. It's really grown. And with Seattle being so close, that's something that we could do.
Okay, Vince, raise your hand. You're in the back. This is one of our business consultants here, Vince. He's come down from Seattle as well. Some of the relationships that Drew was talking about, having that relationship with your business consultant and understanding who, is on the Zillow side to help you grow, that's an important factor that we take very seriously. Return on investment. Alex.
Year to date, $6.40 for every dollar.
These guys are tracking it so well. I'm impressed. Okay. How did you do that?
Well, exactly what they do. We have a detailed spreadsheet. Thank you, Jennifer. And yes, we track every source, and it's not every lead that just comes in by phone call or email, but like they said, they're online, they're doing their research, and they reach out to us directly. And so by chance we find out later on that that's how they really contacted us.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for sharing all that. I would love to take a few questions from the audience. We have the microphones and a few minutes for questions. And there's one over there. Yep, right. Thanks, Katie.
I'm interested in hearing what your conversion rates are, if you know.
Okay, so there's the return on investment question, but then there's a conversion question. Do you track conversion? Alex was earlier.
Yes. I have a pretty good ballpark number for our team. It's about 8%. We convert about 8%.
Which is good. We think the industry average is about 3.5%, and that's pretty good. But if you're anywhere, and the big thing here, as we asked the other two, is if you increase your conversion by a percentage point, you're going to stand to make a significantly amount more in gross commissions, and that's the goal. With systems and technology and people, improving your conversion increases the number of dollars that you make at the end of the day. So that's an incredible conversion. I'm glad you're tracking it. Congratulations, Drew.
Just over 11.
11%. Wow. Okay. So the systems and technology that you put in place.
Yeah, and a lot of that I found really good success with. We've been more heavy on the Trulia side on the front end,
Okay.
with some of the seller leads, and I found that those convert a little bit better. So I think we've attributed a lot of it to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually close to 10%, so right in the ballpark with these guys. We'll get the appointment, we'll get the conversation going. My big lesson is, hey, my old leads are not bad, they're just old. And so we keep calling people because guess what? 2 years ago, they said, hey, when my daughter graduates, I'll be ready. And then 2 years have gone up and now I still need to call them. So it's not just a one and done or call them for 7 days and then you're done. We spend a lot of time deliberately calling older leads as well.
And over the course of those 2 years, were you sending them like drip messaging along the way?
We send them emails, we send them, they're on part of our video blog, if they're on home search, they're getting home properties. So yes, we're dripping them as well, but like we're also just calling them.
Okay. Yes?
I have a question for each of you. What are you currently using as a CRM? What have you found has worked? I know that question gets a lot of different answers. And what are you using for IDX feed to get your clients' property on a daily basis?
Okay. Two-part question. Drew, start with you.
So the first question is CRM. I tried to. It's just like a bad habit that I still have a top producer. I try to get rid of it all the time, but I've tried. Ben Kinney has Brevity, and then there's the other one. We've been playing around with a few. It's just difficult to migrate. So it does work for us. It's clunky, but we are able to. There's so much data in there, and years of information. It's been difficult to kick that habit. From an IDX standpoint, we use Diverse Solutions, which is the Zillow Group brand. I'm thinking of transitioning off of that to another server right now. We've been using kind of our company brokerage IDX model in the meantime. So we're in transition there.
And you put your individual clients on your own drip
Correct.
campaign. Okay, that was kind of the same question too. And so you do that.
So I'm gonna say the same thing with him, but without apologizing. I actually love top producers. So what I have is I have two databases. I have follow-up bots for all the, essentially their names, right? A lead is just a name. You don't have connection with them, as you were saying, Drew, like the faceless others. The minute you connect with them, then they become a true contact, and then they go to top producers. So I kind of have like a staging area for all our leads. What a follow-up boss does really well is tracking, routing the ISA, handing it off to different agents.
Okay.
Which is what we use that for. With regards to IDX, I have multiple different IDXs. Quite frankly, I don't sit there and go, what's the best IDX? Let me build a website around it. I have multiple buyer's agents or whatever IDX goes with. Each buyer search sites is what I use.
Okay. Alex?
Top producer as well for our team, and for our IDX solutions, we use, it's kind of like we have a few, but the main one we use is Pro Agent Websites out of Utah, and it's very simple, and we get positive feedback, so that's why we just stopped and break.
Okay, great. Time for a couple more questions here. Yes?
My question is, once you guys have a lead and you want to send them listings, I guess one of the biggest things I've struggled with for the last 3 or 4 years is when I used to get a lead, I used to put them up on Quest. At that point, we'd send them listings, and HomeQuest has obviously refused to create a mobile app. Now, they're either on Zillow, which I can't really control them, or more importantly, they're on Redfin. So even when I set them up on HomeQuest, every listing request that I get is from a Redfin app, or they take a screenshot. What are you guys using? I mean, obviously, HomeQuest is not working anymore because everybody's mobile. So we can control the listings that we're sending them. We can see what their listings they're viewing.
Yep. Good question. Let's take it.
Redfin's a difficult animal to fight. I personally feel like Redfin could have been dominating the brokerage industry if they didn't have the model where there was a lower commission kind of rebate system. I bet a lot of us in this room would have flocked to Redfin if that was their model. I feel like they missed the boat there because we don't mind if clients are on Redfin. I mean, it's hard to fight that battle. Zillow's great too. I find Zillow excels in the coming soon realm where I encourage clients. It's difficult fighting the beast. I don't think you're going to find a search that's going to outperform Redfin, quite frankly. So you might as well let your clients hang out there and then setting them up on Zillow for the coming soon. I feel like they're going to see a really good grasp of the market.
I agree. I think that I want them to use whatever app they're comfortable with and then call me when they want to see a house. I use Commissions Inc. as my back end for basically the Big Brother piece. What are they looking at? What's their average price? This person just found a house for $800. We just sold their house. Now they're looking for $200,000 houses. What's going on? I call them and I find out that they're looking for their son, and I had no idea. And they thought maybe because I sold their $800,000 house that I wouldn't work with them. And I just, oh hey, I was just thinking about you, checking in. Oh, it's funny that you called. I was just thinking about real estate for my son. So there's that Big Brother aspect that's really nice, where you can see what people are looking at. And it doesn't matter what system you use, as long as you have that kind of dashboard on the back end where you can see what's happening.
Okay.
That's what you need.
Anything to add to that?
Not really. It's the same website. I mean, making sure you have an IDX provider that is evolving and willing to change and adapt. And I didn't like our mobile platform either when they first rolled out with it, but they took my feedback and they continually improved it for their betterment too. So.
My quick advice is don't discredit where a consumer's shopping and encourage them to call you because you're the one that's going to add the value. You're the one that's going to show them the properties, right? And so if you take, even if they're on Redfin, they send you a Redfin listing, don't even make that about where they're searching. Just make it about the value that you can provide once they need the door to be open, and you can continue to nurture them. That's kind of and I think that echoes sort of what you say. And if you discredit where the consumer's been looking for 6 months, they're going to be like, what did I just spend 6 months doing? Because I thought I was educating myself. I finally got the nerve up to contact an agent. Now they're telling me my search was all wrong.
Well, at that point, they've got a lot more loyalty to Redfin than to you. So yeah, you can be quickly past this.
Provide value right out of the gate and continue that relationship. I think those are the two big things. Yep.
How many zip codes do you advertise in? And now you have the capability of moving around what you want, what zip code you might want to do. Do you try to dominate one area, or do you move them around randomly, or just keep them there?
Yeah, good question. So zip code strategies, Alex.
I'm in, I believe, 14 zip codes, and since they switched to market-based pricing model, I'll be honest, I haven't spent too much time focused on that. I've just been focused. We're running a really great business right now, and so we're working our business, and we're staying in the zip codes that we're in. And so I've actually seen in some areas where, again, pricing has gone up due to certain demand in those areas. But we're certainly trying to make sure that we've got enough saturation in that area. Again, because I have the strong profile with the 139 reviews, then it's very helpful.
Okay.
We're in 3, and we're probably, as you can tell by reviews, we're probably a little later to the Zillow game than my Padres up here. But that's worked really well for us, and those are areas that we know like the back of our hands. So we'll maybe cautiously branch out, but right now we're, I think, similar to everyone else in this room, plenty busy with what we're working on.
Okay.
Same thing. We have 4, and they're the 4 I want to be in. So I make a presence where I want to be known where I want.
Okay. Time for maybe one more question if anybody has one. If not, are you folks sticking around, and can they come and ask you independent questions Okay, afterwards, let's give him a round of applause, please. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Please drop the microphones off the back. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate it. Okay, all right. We'll transition now to a short video.